Here we go. Let's explore some autistic traits in adults that you may never have realized were actually autistic traits. Keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list of autistic traits. This is clearly not a diagnostic tool. This is just a video with my own experiences and observations as an autistic person. A list of 20 traits you might not have been aware of. And just because you can relate to a few of these traits doesn't mean you're autistic. However, if you feel like you can resonate with the majority of these traits, well, you may wish to talk it over with your friends and family or your healthcare professional about the potential of seeking an assessment as an autistic person. Autistic traits in adults you might not have known. Number 1, feeling uncomfortable, awkward, anxious, stressed around new people or new places. That's an autistic trait in adults you may not have realized was actually an autistic trait, and something I can absolutely relate to. This comes down to many different factors as an autistic person, but leaving the safe space for me at my home and being around people who aren't safe people I don't know their intentions, I don't know their personality, I haven't come to the ability to warm to them. These are the kind of things that will create constant anxiety and trigger me as an autistic person. Number 2, and this autistic trait in adults, is the use of structures or scripts, pre-planned, premeditated, pre-rehearsed conversations or templates to have conversations, interactions, and small talk with neurotypical people in the real world. As an autistic person, I can run conversations through my head thousands of times, not only before I know there's interactions coming, but after, which I find horrible. The idea that I torture myself to have conversations in a more appropriate way or better, or judge my conversations after, and the feeling. Anyway, number 3, and this autistic trait in adults is an interesting one. Do you have a preference or a dislike for hugging or kissing or touching or holding people when you greet them, when you meet them? The standard stuff you do when you meet people or they expect you to do. As an autistic adult, I can find this really complex to work out why. It's not like I don't want to do it because I don't want to do it. It's just, it doesn't occur to me. When I meet someone, it doesn't occur to me like the right thing to do to kiss their person or to hug them or force them to shake my hand or do weird pats and say it doesn't occur to me to do it. And I guess that means that I'm not interested in doing it. And that could be because as an autistic person, it's not something that I seek out. It's not the kind of thing I feel comfortable doing. It doesn't mean that you have the same feelings as me. It just means it's something that I kind of have to be prompted to do. But then I don't think you should be prompting autistic people to do this kind of stuff. If they want to do it, they'll do it. Don't force your autistic child to give Nana a big hug and a kiss. Do you know what I mean? It's not appropriate. And for adults in a relationship, maybe you are already diagnosed autistic, it's okay to not be that touchy-feely person you think you should be in a relationship, but it's not okay to not at least convey or share those preferences. Look, as an autistic person, or look, just for me personally, I love you and I love our physical connection, but I don't always want to hold hands or hug or kiss you goodbye or hello or these kind of things. Just be clear, upfront, honest. Number 4, and this autistic trait in adults is also something that is not uncommon for non-autistic people to use. Do you like to wear legit noise-cancelling headphones or noise-cancelling earbuds? So you really drown out the world for when you leave the house. You close the door of your house and they're on until you get home, right? You might be catching public transport to work or to study or to friends or family, right? Or you might just be going to the shops or whatever. But having this protection, like you're about to do a construction job, to protect you from sensory overload, from the noises and, I guess, overwhelming nature of the outside world, it's another autistic trait in adults. Number 5, this autistic trait in adults absolutely rings a bell with me. Noises. Do they seem louder to you when you're stressed or tired or triggered or agitated? Right? Sounds that shouldn't really startle or come across that loud seem like the loudest sound on the planet. For me as an autistic husband and dad and autistic adult with all the stresses in my life, it's got to the point now where I will literally cover my ears with both my hands. And it's not like I'm trying to be some caricature out of a movie or a media representation. It's instinctual. Now, what seemed like nothing noises to the rest of my family will cause me in the moment to literally cover my ears. When I'm overstimulated, stressed, agitated, like I said, these types of triggers, noises just sound louder than they are to really anyone else. Number 6, and this autistic trait in adults, linked to number 5, it centers around the idea that, do you ever get startled? And I mean disproportionately startled to certain noises, sounds. More specifically, do you get startled or have a disproportionate reaction to unexpected noises or sudden loud noises? I don't know how my heart's still going. The bejesus will be scared out of me, not on a daily basis, like on an hourly basis. I startled by the stupidest, most insignificant noises and unexpected noises. They don't only startle me, they make me really angry. It's like, what was that? Number 7, and this autistic trait in adults might be something that you think is more associated with kids, with school uniforms and clothing and getting them out of their pajamas, but no, it's very common in autistic adults, and that is that you can't tolerate certain fabrics or textures. You put on a certain type of clothing, you are overwhelmed with a complete sense of discomfort, which can actually manifest in agitation and anger, and you just have to get that off you. And to be forced to stay in that type of clothing is never going to be a good result for anyone, because you're going to be overstimulated, you're going to be triggered, you could melt down. It's something that you might think is more of a kid thing and adults just get over it, but absolutely not. Number 8, this autistic trait in adults linked to number 7 and what we'll talk about in number 9. And that is, do you cut the tags off clothing? Cutting the tags off t-shirts and underwear is something that I have to do. In fact, I try to find products that don't have tags, and that's relatively hard to find. So if you cut the tags off certain pieces of clothing because it just doesn't feel right, it's agitating and yuck, well, that indeed could be an autistic trait. Number 9, and this autistic trait in adults is really linked to the last couple we've talked about around clothing, but the difference is it's that you simply can't wear particular clothing because it agitates you or it makes you upset or angry or overstimulated, even though it's not actually uncomfortable. In other words, it's not a texture or a fabric that you usually can't tolerate. You wouldn't class it as uncomfortable. But when you put it on in this particular moment, it just doesn't feel right. This happens to me a lot. And you can go through the list. It can be anything. Your standard regular underwear, your shorts, your t-shirts, your socks, your pants, shirts, jumpers. It doesn't matter what it is. Your normal clothing from time to time just doesn't feel right. Number 10, and this autistic trait in adults is something very near and dear to my heart, and that is the texture of food can utterly repulse me, as in the texture of food actually makes me gag. I mean physically gag. Pumpkin is an example for me. Let's say the whole family is having some pumpkin. They're eating away, enjoying it. I take a bite and I gag. And I can't even judge anything else about it. But the texture of it has caused my brain to say, this is disgusting. It tastes yuck, it is yuck, avoid it. But really, it's because the texture has made me gag. So if the texture of foods have that gag reflex, that could be an autistic trait in adults. And in fact, it's linked to another thing I want to talk about regarding food. Number 11, do you find yourself utterly repulsed by certain flavors, smells, or textures of food? But more to that, even just thinking about these types of foods can make you feel sick or disgusted or just icky. I've got a couple. Peas. Peas. You know what? There's something about peas. And I realize now, because I've got older and more mature and I can pinpoint it, it's the smell. The smell of peas. It disgusts me to the point where I can't eat the peas. But I can have pea and ham soup. Tastes delicious. But the smell of peas, can't eat them. Number 12, this autistic trait in adults is, do you feel exhausted after you return home from going places, shopping, outside to an appointment, right? So the act of going to an appointment or appointments or going to the shops renders you completely exhausted when returning. It's like you can do it, right? But the energy it takes to do it, and for those that are autistic, we know that it's a lot of the masking, that camouflaging, that suppressing your true self to make other people feel comfortable. All this stuff isn't just done, right? It takes energy, and that energy has been taken from other things that require that energy. And therefore, when it's done, when you've done your appointment, everyone's happy and you get home, there's nothing left. There's nothing left in the tank. As an autistic husband and dad, I can find if we have visitors to the house, and that's fine, that's great. But once they've gone, there's a period after that where I feel like I'm almost non-functional. I just crash. And it can look really weird to my family. Hang on a second, like you were fine and then they're gone, and it's because I finally let my guard down. I finally be able to stop, and I realize now I'm actually done. Number 13, and this autistic trait in adults may seem like an excuse. It's not though. Spending more time than is probably pretty usual or an extraordinary amount of time when you go to the toilet or in the bathroom. I'm pretty sure the trait should be, do you spend more time than others in the bathroom, the toilet, etc., to escape the world, to relax, to unwind, to decompress, to feel free? That's what I do. People always say, well, why do you take so long in the toilet? Or you had a shower, it's like 45 minutes later. What did you do up there? I just escaped the world. I just took my time. I just relaxed. Number 14. And this autistic trait in adults is a preference for being alone in social gatherings, right? Do you like to be alone when you should be mingling? Or, like me, do you like to stay close to your safe person, which could be, if you're a child, it could be your mum, your dad, carers, your family. As an adult, it could be your partner. There is no moving away from the by yourself or with your safe person to just freely mingle. What? I'll tell you right now, social gatherings now are much easier because if I can't hang out with my safe person being my wife, I can absolutely hang out with my kids. And you might be an autistic person who at a social gathering, maybe it's a family gathering, you spend more time with the pets, the family pets, or the kids, right? Just playing board games or kicking the footy or hanging out. Well, this is way better. I'll tell you what, no small talk. No small talk. Number 15, and this autistic trait in adults is around people watching. Do you like people watching? Do you like watching the world go by? Just sitting in a quiet place. Maybe you're sitting in a cafe or a restaurant or shops or a public place, and you just are happy to sit there alone and just watch the world go by. Just people watch. Just observe. Like you're watching TV. I get that this can sound a little creepy, but it's not. It's pure. Trust me. From my point of view, it's odd to say this, but I'm disconnecting from the world by connecting to the world. Number 16, this autistic trait in adults is a key and core part of my well-being, and that is you have a preference, but not even just a preference. You have an exclusive use policy for supermarkets, cafes, really shops of any kind. And what I mean is you exclusively and only use a specific supermarket, a specific shop, a specific cafe to get your coffee, for example. And you don't want to deviate from those. For me, a specific hairdresser, a specific bakery, it doesn't matter, a specific pharmacy, doctor, it doesn't matter what it is. It's an exclusive use policy that has zero flexibility. For example, if I go to my bakery and they don't have the bread I need, I won't go to the next bakery or to the supermarket. I'll go home. I couldn't. My bakery didn't have it. What do you want me to do? Go to the bakery I've been to before? I don't know who they are or what they have or how it works. You ask for bread, give them the money. Oh, well, that's what you think. If I have a supermarket or a shop that's mine, I know where everything is. I know where I can park. Parking can be a big stress for me, right? I know where to go. Every aisle. Exactly what I need. Number 17, and this autistic trait in adults is a failure to seem to connect with people. Or more specifically, others seem to struggle to connect with you. I think we can't always blame the autistic person. If you want to get to know someone who has a different brain, you're probably going to have to do it differently to how you do it with neurotypical or non-autistic people. So if people struggle to connect with you, if people view you as things like quirky or weird or strange or odd, it's because they're viewing you through the lens of a neurotypical non-autistic person. But then again, everyone's different. Number 18, this autistic trait in adults, and I can tell you, you can take it to the bank with me. Do people seem to laugh at what you're saying, even though you weren't trying to make them laugh or you weren't saying something funny in your head, right? So in just general conversation, you'll say things, you'll have remarks or opinions or thoughts that make people laugh. And you'll say to them, that wasn't a joke, I'm being serious. Like, you have to tell people, like, they've started genuinely laughing at something you've said, and you're like, I'm not kidding, this isn't a joke. It's hit and miss. I don't know what is and isn't funny, but people tell me I can be naturally funny. I can make people laugh quite naturally. I'm what you call dry. My humor's dry. So a lot of times people will actually ask my wife or my family, is he joking? Is that a joke? Are you making a joke? Because it looks the same as everything else. So that's where it becomes even more complicated. Number 19, and this autistic trait in adults always gets me into trouble. Do you always seem to wind up in arguments with people? Are you finding yourself in disagreements when it was never your intention? You don't know how you got there. And I mean to the point where they'll point out, I don't want to argue with you, I don't want to have this disagreement. And you're like, I didn't know we were having an argument. I didn't know we were having a disagreement. I don't know how we got to this point where you thought that. And Frank, I don't even know what it's about. If you find yourself in what other people are labeling a disagreement or an argument, and you don't know how you got there, and you don't know what it's even about, well, you're a bit like me. Ding! Number 20, our final autistic trait in adults, and that is in the workplace. Are you often reprimanded, or are you often disciplined or warned by your bosses, your managers, or your work colleagues that you're just rude, or you're just too blunt, too honest, too straightforward? Not a team player. You always use an inappropriate tone of voice. Oh, that's interesting, because I don't actually really have much of an understanding of tone, pace, volume, verbal and non-verbal. I mean, body language, this is not even my thing. I'm autistic. That means I don't really get the whole tone thing. What do you mean inappropriate tone? This is me talking. Do you mean I haven't put on a fake tone to make you feel better? I wasn't even aware that was required. Honesty is bad. This is the problem with workplaces. It's a whole other video, by the way. But professionalism, or being professional, is a made-up word. To be professional in a workplace for an autistic person is actually impossible. Professional isn't a thing. It's a made-up, like, HR word. You tell me what being professional is, and I'll tell you most of those things aren't achievable by autistic people. Anyway, the rant's over, okay? But I'll do a video on that. I promise you it's coming. I'm ready. In the meantime, though, I think I need more space. As always, the traits we discussed was not an exhaustive list. This is not a diagnostic video, but if it's sparked some interest or rung some bells, you may wish to discuss it with your local general practitioner or your family and friends. In the meantime, I really do appreciate you watching this video, and hopefully you can share it with your family and friends so we can reach more people and make the lives of autistic people better. In the meantime, thank you for your support. Till my next video, we'll talk soon.